The fall 2015 CAC Championship season began on Saturday, October 31st, as CAC men's and women's cross-country teams convened at Jefferson Patterson Park and Museum in St. Leonard, Maryland for the cross-country championships hosted by St. Mary's. The women's race opened the day's events, with Christopher Newport cruising to the team title for the third straight year. The captains placed 5 runners in the top 10 to secure the three-peat, totaling just 25 points in the team standings. The CNU duo of Lydia Cromwell and Logan Harrington finished in second and third place, respectively, to pace the captains, while Abigail May also recorded a top 5 finish for the champions. Head coach Matthew Burrow earned Coach of the Year accolades for the third straight season. York's Alicia Dillman raced to the individual crown and Athlete of the Year honors, winning by a margin of over 20 seconds to lead the Spartans to second place. Teammate Jessica Del Vicio took fourth place and was named Rookie of the Year. On the men's side, CNU broke through for its first CAC title after claiming second place each of the last 2 years. The captains placed 5 runners among the top 12 and compiled 27 points en route to the team crown, paced by Grayson Reed's individual championship that earned him Athlete of the Year honors. Joining Reed in the top 5 for CNU were Billy Rabel and Andrew Benfer in third and fourth, respectively. The CNU sweep of both cross-country titles was the first in the CAC since Salisbury completed the feat in 2010. CNU's Matthew Burrow was also named Men's Coach of the Year, giving him his 4th CAC coaching honor in the last 3 years, while Salisbury's Billy Kirk nabbed Rookie of the Year accolades as the top newcomer. The remaining 4 fall CAC championships took place on Saturday, November 7th, with Mary Washington hosting women's soccer and field hockey, Salisbury hosting men's soccer, and Christopher Newport hosting volleyball. The women's soccer title showdown featured 5th-seeded Mary Washington welcoming 6th-seeded York to the Battleground Complex, marking the first time in CAC history that the 5th-seeded team in a playoff tournament hosted the championship game. Mary Washington advanced to the title game for the second straight year after outlasting 4th-seeded Salisbury in penalty kicks in the first round and edging top-seeded Christopher Newport 1-0 in the semifinals. York also posted a pair of road wins to make the championship match, becoming the third number 6 seed to reach the title game in the last 5 years. The Spartans began the tournament with a 2-0 first-round win at third-seeded Frostburg State, before holding off second-seeded St. Mary's 2-1 in the semis. In the title showdown, York defeated Mary Washington 1-0 in double overtime to capture its 3rd CAC crown and become the first ever 6 seed to win the CAC women's soccer title. Spartan senior Jamie Sokolis broke the scoreless tie in the 109th minute to give York the dramatic victory. In men's soccer, top-seeded Salisbury hosted 6th-seeded St. Mary's at the SU Soccer Complex, the third time in the last 5 years that the Seagulls hosted the title match. St. Mary's posted a pair of road wins to become the first ever 6th seed to reach the men's soccer title game, opening with a 3-2 first-round win at 3rd-seeded Wesley before ousting 2nd-seeded York 1-0 in overtime in the semis. After receiving a first-round bye, the Seagulls advanced to the finals with a 2-0 shutout win over 4th-seeded Mary Washington in the semifinals. In the championship tilt, Salisbury claimed its 9th men's soccer crown with a 2-0 shutout victory over the Seahawks. Leslie Amuna put the Seagulls on top in the early going with a penalty kick in the 13th minute, while Joshua Lord gave SU an insurance goal in the 73rd minute when he redirected a Brad Martinelli shot into the back of the net for the final 2-0 margin of victory. The field hockey championship game featured top-seeded Mary Washington and second-seeded Salisbury at the Battleground, marking the 9th time the Eagles and Seagulls squared off for CAC supremacy. Both squads received first-round byes to the semifinals, with UMW defeating 4th-seeded York 4-1 in the semis, and Salisbury holding off 3rd-seeded Christopher Newport in the other semifinal tilt. In the championship, UMW's Christine Lohr opened the scoring with an unassisted tally late in the first half, but Salisbury's Samantha Johnson answered with just 57 seconds left in the opening frame to send the teams to halftime knotted at 1-1. After a scoreless second half and first overtime period, Salisbury's Courtney Jansen put home the game winner late in the second OT off a feed from Amanda Cooper to hand the Seagulls their 3rd straight CAC title and 19th in the last 21 years. The top 2 seeds collided for the CAC volleyball crown as top-seeded Christopher Newport welcomed 2nd-seeded Salisbury to the Freeman Center for the 3rd straight year. CNU survived 4th-seeded St. Mary's 3-2 in a 5-game semifinal thriller to reach the title match, while Salisbury downed 3rd-seeded Mary Washington 3-1 in the semis. The CAC Championship match was all captains from the start, as CNU continued its run of perfection against CAC opponents with a sweep over the visiting Seagulls to complete the three-peat. Hannah Miller led the captains with 12 kills on just 18 swings while also contributing 5 block assists. Rachel Conway dished out 32 assists while Rachel Close led CNU in digs with 12. Including CAC postseason matches, the captains have now secured a 32-0 record against CAC competition since joining the league in 2013.